talk about determining our brain dominance, whether we're right or left brain dominant. You can see from the brain model that I'm holding that the brain has two hemispheres, and as I've mentioned previously, we have gifts from both sides of the brain. We use both hemispheres, and that's really the ideal, to be whole-brained. But sometimes under stress, we revert back to our dominant brain hemisphere and lose access to the gifts from the other side of our brain. Understanding our brain dominance helps us understand our gifts and our learning blocks. Now in future videos, I'll show you how to better access both hemispheres. But now we're going to go into more details about each hemisphere so you can understand which side of the brain is your dominant side. You can also see the PDF file on the website to see more characteristics of both left and right brain dominant people. Now let's talk about some of the differences between right and left brain dominant people. First we'll talk about learning styles. And let's talk first about the left brain learning style. Since left brains usually do well in school, they're seen as smarter. They're more honored in the West than right brain learners are. They like to listen to lectures and usually do well in reading, writing, speech, and math. They are abstract thinkers, and since they think analytically, logically, and sequentially, they understand the sequential rules of school subjects. They usually like to do one thing at a time and to do things in the correct order. The left brain person only sees the big picture when all the little steps of a process are complete. So what's the right brain learning style like? Well, lecture style can be a challenge for a right brain person because they need to see something done, to feel it, and to actually experience the process. Then they can remember the facts. Many teachers are left brain and they talk a lot without demonstrations or visuals. This sometimes makes school challenging. Since right brains process information differently than left brains, they're sometimes seen as not as smart as left brain people. However, they are really imaginative, spontaneous thinkers who are more likely to be able to think outside the box. Right brain people think and learn in visual, kinesthetic, and audio images. Because they're visual, geometry and design might be easier for them. Since they don't memorize well, seeing a picture helps them remember facts. And since their brain functions on several levels like a parallel processor, subjects that are abstract and linear like math can sometimes be more difficult. Right brains are more honored in Eastern cultures than in the West. So what's school like for both of these styles? Let's look at a spelling test. Here is the right brain person at a spelling test. On a spelling test, the right brain hears the word surprise. Their mind wanders to the surprise party they had last night, which reminds them of the good chocolate cake they ate, which then reminds them of the new gift they received, which then reminds them of how much fun they'll have when they get home and play that new video game. The teacher says, "Word number 7 is excellent." The student raises their hand and says, "What was word number 6? They've just checked out for a while. They also sometimes doodle and draw on their paper. So what's a left brain person like at a spelling test? Well, focusing is usually not an issue for left brains. The left brain person hears the word surprise, so they quickly write the word and wait for the next spelling word. They usually don't doodle on their paper or look around the room. So let's talk about the differences between both left and right brain communication styles. Here's the right brain communication style. Since they don't think linearly, they may start a story in the middle, jump to the beginning, then to the end. Their communication style is what I like to call the ricochet style, and they usually elaborate and add details to their stories. They listen for the big idea, and if they don't get the big idea first, they won't understand the details someone is sharing. Right brains don't explain what they feel well. They may be misunderstood because they think of one thing but say another because their brain has already moved on to another thought. Right brains are more expressive and emotional. They are intuitive and they're good at understanding and relating to people. So what is left brain communication like? They start their stories from beginning to end. They tell it factually without adding details. It's really important for them to share all the details. The right brain person listening is already jumping ahead saying, oh, get to the point of the story. Left brain people will listen for the details and may miss the big picture in communication. Lefts are naturally evaluating what's wrong and why it won't work. The world is linear to them. The left brain person doesn't see the end result and needs to go through the steps one by one to then see the big picture. They have to have all the little steps completed first. So what's memory like for left and right brain people? Okay, here's the left brain memory. Left brains can go to a party, meet 8 new people, and remember their names the next day. They also remember the passwords on their accounts. Right brain memory. The right brain person can go to that same party, will not remember the names, but they will remember the dress and the shoes they were wearing, the colors of the room they were in, what they ate, how their hair was done, the style of glasses a person at a party had. They might remember what they were talking about, but they won't remember the names. So how do left and right brain people approach a project? Left brains naturally arrange the various steps in order and begin with the first step. They always read the directions, since reading directions carefully is a detailed activity for the left brain. They will start reading a book from the beginning. How do right brains approach a project? Well, right brains go from point A sometimes to point M back to point B. Since they don't like to listen to directions and don't like to read them, they scan quickly and figure out what to do. They select steps without any obvious order, doing what comes to mind at the moment. Now they get the job done, but in a different way than the left brain person does. They may start reading a magazine or a book from the middle or the end before going to the beginning. So how do both of these styles differ in their neatness? Lefts usually have a tidy personal space and know where things are. Rights don't like to take the time to organize their things, so they have a piling system. They usually know where something is in their piles, though. Other rooms in a right brain's world may be neat and tidy, but the personal space while they're working tends not to be. Pretty cool, huh? What do you like? I'm just so excited to have shared this information with you. Now, I know it was a lot. Believe it or not, there's still a lot more to learn. Please check out some of the materials on the site where we'll be posting more videos about topics such as, are you ADD or right-brained? Or, I've got to tell you, I've had a blast making this video, and I've spent a lot of years putting these ideas into practice. I just would love the opportunity to speak with you so you can have the chance to get a more in-depth peek at your brain or the brain of someone you love. So check out the site or call me for more information about how we can get in touch. I really do look forward to speaking with you soon. Check it out.